Gertie, I want to talk to you about something.
Me? I want no Patsy.
Yeah, this kind of hard for me to tell you.
Well, the wait is over. I am here. What do you have to say?
You know, I've been noticing you lately, and I've been wanting to tell you for a while. You know, me and you is friend, but
You mean how you should say it? Just say it. Why you I lick your teeth and I go on like something wrong with you? What is it? I mean, what could you possibly say about me, Gertie? I mean, look how me cute.
yeah. The truth is, Gertie, how should I say this? You're too bad, mind.
Seriously? I want what you have. No, look pan good woman like me, nice and good as. I mean, you're my friend, but come on, you can't hold a candle to me. Come on, man, you're talking to me, Gertie? Child, please.
Calm down, no, man, calm down. Bad mind. You don't know what bad mind is? Okay, let me tell you. Bad mind is every time you see me with something, you want it. Oh no, actually that is wanty. So maybe I have to break down this whole thing for you. We can't be friends if...
Serious? This woman, you're mad. But we can't be friends. What are you getting at? Just spit it out.
You're always wanting everything that someone else has.
Like who? Be specific. Not Pacific. Be specific. Some line like who? You? Me want what you have?
You notice how you're never happy for anybody except for yourself?
I lie.
Don't say it's not true. It is true. It is true. And it's only because me is your friend, I'm going to tell you. You're too bad, man.
We're going to talk about mind states quickly. This is one thing that comes up a lot. What we say we don't understand. I'm coming from the compilation of what I have learned, the tools that I have used over time. So, mind state, and the babies are sleeping. Hey, mind states. Right? In the Caribbean, and even here, they call it hating here. Here we call it hating. This is negative mind state, right? Here we call it hating, negative, right? Or we call it being thirsty. Or we call it bad mind. Oh, all of these type of words that we have to describe. I don't know if you guys could see it the way the thing. Let me know if you could see it. All of these words that we have to describe someone's behavior or mentality or thought process that might be contrary to what we would think is positive and uplifting, right? Now, what is a hating mindset? Like, what's behind it? A lot of times there's songs about it, you know, Mary J, no hateration in this dancery. And this is the thought that, but now you're welcome to the conversation. Feel free to share this because I don't know where my share button is today. I turned it kind of to the side. Welcome Susan to the conversation. Ruach to the conversation. I turned it to the side. Can't find my share button. So if you could share it, that would be lovely. We're talking about mind states today. I felt a little jovial, so I did a little comedy video because information can be translated in thought through storytelling. So it's on my page. But my point is, we may encounter people when we try to keep a positive mentality. We may encounter people that are always negative, always see the dark side, always see the problem, always, you know, saying why it's not going to work or how it's not going to work. Keith Neal, welcome to the conversation. And we will, Sam, welcome to the conversation. We will say that person is hating, you know, or that person is bad mind, that person is envious, that person is covetous. Okay, let's go a little deeper. There's some people who, this is a learned behavior. You know, oftentimes humanity is inclined towards negative because negative is a pulling action. So you have to put in effort and energy to go positive. And what I would say is based on what I have studied and learned is that if the well of that individual early on. And so people have different minds. Let me say that. Your mind is like soil. People have different minds. What you may do to one and get one result, I've said this before, you may do to another and get a different result, right? And so we can't even necessarily say that circumstances and situations is what turns someone negative or positive, but we definitely are social creatures. We learn from one another. So if you come up in a space where you as the individual, you as the person, when you were a child growing, didn't get what you needed, let's say the attention that you needed, that puts you into a negative state of being, right? Because now you're always wanting, you're seeking attention. Now, depending on who you are, depending on the personality, depending on the soul, you're going to manifest that differently. So if you look at people like plants, not every plant needs the same amount of water, and not every plant needs the same amount of sun, and not every plant thrives in the same amount of soil. So you may have two children. One child doesn't need as much attention as the other. One child may be a self-starter. The next child may need encouragement. But if we're still talking about bad mind, I'm talking about how we get to, because as adults or children growing, when we meet somebody, oftentimes we don't know all of that baggage that they're coming with. All we see is the end result, and then we label the end result as being bad mind, the hater, you know what I'm saying, thirsty, this person is negative. But once we label a certain behavior and we identify this behavior and say, yo, this behavior is kind of wrong. Welcome to those who have just joined the conversation. We say this person sucks my energy. This person is, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me know if you can see it. This person is toxic. This is what we're really saying in a certain kind of way. This person is toxic. This person, what does that mean? This person is negative. So then when we have to say, okay, and why I like to go into it, because what if we're that person? And we're aware that this is who we are, but we don't like it. And it's not enough to be labeled as this. How can I help it? What can I do to change this? Right? And so this is where we begin to understand what's going on. We have attention seekers who needs the adoration. They need the confirmation from others to say that you are worthy. Right? Because maybe that person grew up with low self-esteem. Maybe that person grew up thinking that I'm not worthy, or maybe they were directly told you're not worth anything. And so they believe that. And so they go into different places seeking and searching for where they can be somebody. You know that saying we like to say, oh, you think you somebody, right? So a hater or a bad mind person, they may hang around, but they may not like to see anybody progressing. So as long as you're miserable together, that's a good thing, right? But if you start advancing, that's not so much of a good thing. Or if you are, cheery, or if you are self-motivated and they begin to envy, Clifford, welcome to the conversation, and covet that which you have, that person becomes dangerous depending on their personality. They're taxing as well. Yes, this is the words we use, right? That means you're charging me, to be in my presence. I feel like, wow, you just got me. You got in my pockets. You left with something that's supposed to be mine. And we all know people, or we are these people. We either know these people, or we are these people, or we once were these people. So because people are not necessarily disposable, and I know sometimes detox everything and throw away everybody, you kind of have to gauge who the person is, what proximity they are to do. You may have to reposition them in your life, but if they're willing to make strides to change, in the same way if you're willing to make strides to change, you wouldn't want someone to continue to judge you from where you were. But now if that person is here, and it's clear that every time you go somewhere with the person, every time you speak to the person, Victor, welcome to the conversation, that person is not trying to change. That person is just, the only conversation that you guys have is when you're hating on people together. That's another thing we have to watch out for, males as well as females, where your friendship is based on hating, and your friendship is based on being thirsty, or your friendship is based on being bad mind or covetous or grudgeful, right? This is where y'all having the most fun. But when you're talking about edification, things that are edifying, that's not fun. Or when you think about, you say something positive that happened and that just gets brushed over, then that also can qualify as a toxic relationship. For those who just joined me, yes, it is rare. I'm up at 11 o'clock. Like I said, I took an off nap today because I was rather tired. And so I have a little bit of energy. I said, let me get this in because this was on my mind. So what I like to call it is energy jacking. I speak about it in chapter 4 of Solonomics, energy jacking, right? You know how somebody carjacked, back in the day, people would carjack you, run up on you, say, get out your car, and then they take your vehicle and go. That's kind of how people do with our energy. They'll run up on you. You be having a good day. You wake up in the morning, you do your stretches, you say your prayers, and you're like, today is going to be a good day. All of a sudden, ping, the phone ring. Or all of a sudden, poop, you got a message. And that person just entered into your space, and you allowed them. Let me say this. You allow them. Because somebody could send you a text message. You don't have to answer and you don't have to react. If you choose to answer, you can choose not to react in the way that's going to pull you in, right? Or somebody could call you and you can redirect them. But if you don't do those things because you don't have control over your environment and you don't have boundaries and you let them into your space, here they come to energy jack you. Here they come to steal your energy. Now, this is not something that I made up all by my onesie. You have to give credit where credit is due. There is a man that I quote in the book that speaks about this as control dramas. Control drama is a level of toxic, maladaptive behavior. How many people have heard of control dramas? Let me know before I go into it. How many people here have heard about control dramas? And please excuse my voice. I get froggy. My voice gets froggy at night. How many people have heard about control dramas? Control dramas. Let me write it. Oh, no, Cynthia. I was going to blame the babies for taking my booty. But how many people have heard about control dramas? For those who have joined us, my name is Amuna Marlon. Welcome to the conversation. I like to talk about healing, things that affect us, how we get beyond it, so that we can reach our fullest potential, spiritually, emotionally, physically here in the earth. Control dramas. Anybody? Dion, welcome to the conversation. Anybody heard of control dramas? See, we may have heard about it in different forms. Control dramas. Hopefully you can see it. Or maybe I got to bring closer. Or maybe it's just my screen that's looking a bit crazy. All right. A control drama essentially is something that someone uses to basically put the energy back onto them or to suck your energy. But the thing is that not every control drama, sometimes we say, oh, that person is a drama queen, and we think that drama is just in this, we are working on our best self. Yes, you have. Delencia said you have heard about control dramas. Okay, excellent. I looked at that and I was like, that took me to another level when I learned about control dramas, which I speak about here. And I likened it to energy jacking because I'm very visual, and I'm like, so the person comes in, you have to know the ways in which your energy can be sucked. Some of the ways are passive and some of the ways are aggressive, depending on the personality. And the other aspect is it doesn't necessarily have to be one person, can have more than one control drama. So basically when one is not working, the person will switch to the other. And so let me go ahead and give you an example of control drama. Children. They like to say children, right? Children. Now I'm not gonna go children, although children's word that I could use, but I'm gonna do one that we poor me. How many people know people? Since we're talking about negative, bad mind and all these things, how many people know people who everything in the world is wrong with them? This always happens to me. I don't know what's wrong with me. Oh, the sky is falling. This person, they like to play the poor me card. right? It's not just one day that this thing is happening. It's every day, every moment you speak to them, poor me, poor me. And they even pull you in to where you want to be like, oh, poor you, poor baby. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that's happening to you. Why would they do that? I know you're such the nicest person. I couldn't imagine that. That's the individual. What you don't realize, or maybe you do, is that the poor me is an energy sucker. Right? And the way in which they're sucking your energy is passively, right? So they're a passive energy sucker. Why? Oftentimes, the poor me individual is paired with someone who's aggressive, right? The aggressive person, the person who is the intimidator. So in relationships, you will find oftentimes the poor me person and the aggressive intimidator person. And these two are a match. So sometimes when we're in these tumultuous relationships and we're like, they're totally opposites. I don't know how they got together. Their energies negatively complement one another. Shanti, Doc, welcome to the conversation, right? So it's a cycle, basically. So every time the aggressive person, and this is just one type of control drama, right? And so they say it takes two to tango. Every time the aggressive person, goes on the attack, the poor me person has more reason to feel sorry for themselves. They have more sad stories to tell other people. Other people are going to come closer to hear their narratives, and they're going to, right, it's manipulating. So they're manipulating the energy in the room and they may not be conscious of this. This is why we have conversations like this, because it's not always, this is learned behavior oftentimes. This is where, as a child growing, you may have a parent, and it's good to identify what your parent was, because depending on the way in which your parents or your guardian interface with you, you adapted to that. And you took on certain survival mechanisms. And some people, if they grew up in an aggressive space, either they become the aggressor or they become the poor me individual who can't catch a break in life. Right? And so this is for us to take this information and say, wow, I wonder what kind of person I am. So poor me, hold up. I just gave you two styles. Poor me and the aggressor. And here's the other thing. The aggressive individual can also be the poor me. For instance, if the person is being aggressive and it's not working, or they're throwing a tantrum and it's not working, like children. I'm going to go back to children. Children are aggressive. They whine, they throw tantrums. Adults do the same thing, right? They throw tantrums. They whine, they demand, they cry on demand, right? And when they are put back in their boundary, or when they're told no, what do? They cry, which is like, oh, poor me, you told me no, I can't believe you told me no, da 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 da. Adults do the same thing. So sometimes we're like, wow, that person is kind of bugged out. We can't put our finger on it, but if growing up this behavior got them what they want, then there was no need to really change it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So right now, for those who just joined us, we're talking about control dramas. I'm put it up here again. We're talking about control dramas. And basically, there is a free course over on the soulcenter.com where it's, how many days? I think 9 days, I think. It's a free course where each day I give you and go further into more of this information, how to identify toxic people in your life and identify the mechanisms that they're using to suck your energy. So if you want, go over to the soulcenter.com. I'll put it in the box and you can sign up and go through the course. A number of people have gone through the course and shared that they were edified in doing so, because once you learn this information, you don't unlearn it. And so when we're stuck in certain places, not understanding why we can't get ahead in our own life, because I like to tell people, this is first for you. First, identify which one you are. Because if you're not connected with divine source, if you're not connected with the creator, trust and believe you're leaning on one of these paradigms or many of these paradigms. This is how because people need energy. We're like plants. We need energy. Plants need energy. Where are you getting your energy from? Where are you, OP, my thing is falling, getting your energy from? That's the question. Because some people be like, nah, that's not me. That's not me. Shalom, Shanti Doc, welcome to the conversation. It is you, because you're human and you're alive. So where are you getting your energy from? You understand what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't get there. And how are you getting your energy? Where are you getting it? And how are you getting it? When you begin to say, you know, when do I feel energized? You know what I'm saying? When do I feel energized in confrontation? If I get a good verbal confrontation, a good verbal battle, do I feel charged afterwards? If people are agreeing, do I feel disagreeable? Like, there's some people who don't feel good if everybody is like, you know what? I agree. There's some people who's like, this is boring. This is boring. What do you mean? There's no contention. There's no disagreement. There's nothing to see here. Thank you, Sister Ruach. Welcome to the conversation. You see, so these are the things that if we begin to look within ourselves and ask ourselves these questions and search within our soul and be honest. Like, when I go around people, how do I get them to pay me attention? Do I become a wallflower? Do I stick out? Do I overspeak people? Do I tune everybody out? Do I only want my voice to be heard? These are all the questions. I'll give you another one. So you have the aggressive personality, who can also be the passive poor me. And then you have the interrogator and the aloof. Has anybody heard of these terms? The interrogator and the aloof. Now, the interrogator usually pairs with the aloof in the same way that the intimidator pairs with poor me. Here's why. An interrogator is prying. Let me drink a little water, y'all. My voice is really cracking up. Sorry. The interrogator is prying, right? Oh, so what happened? When did it happen? How did it happen? And the aloof person, the kind of person who pretends to be an airhead, the person who pretends to not be present, not be aware, the reason they're doing that for many reasons. They want to feel mystery and shrouding, and they want people to pry, knock on the door. Hello, is anybody home? They like people to kind of encroach on their territory as opposed to them coming out. And so they pair with each other. You might have a husband and wife this way. The wife or the husband may be in their feelings about something. And so they pout a little bit. So they do a little bit of the poor me, or they do a little bit of the aloof. Like, oh, nothing. Is everything okay? Everything is fine. So the person can lean into you, right? This is how you're getting them to give you your energy. The person is leaning into you and are you okay? Are you sure you're fine? Why are you looking like that today? Can I get a smile out of you? All the time, the person is secretly, rejoicing that you are actually paying them attention. This is another, instead of coming forth and saying, this is what I'm feeling when asked, you have to prompt, you have to pet, you have to pry. That's the aloof person. And oftentimes the interrogator, because they are so aggressive in their nature, they're not realizing that they're being played. Right? So let me see here where we at. That's chapter 4. That's a little bit of an introduction. I go further into, I wanted to talk about bullying because this conversation keeps coming up a lot. Bullying. And as you can see in the intimidator, can you see? I should just share this page right here. In the second type, intimidator, energy jacker, again, that person is aggressive. What falls under this space is bullying. So why we see a lot of bullying in schools, we see a lot of these videos going around that the children are being bullied. We see children adversely reacting to being bullied. And this is where this behavior is cultivated. Somewhere in the home, this personality feels have been taught or is shown by behavior of the adults that the way in which you get what you want is to be aggressive and encroach upon someone else's space and demand it. So they're booking on the children to say the children are bullying. They may be, but where did they get this behavior from? And why is the behavior not corrected before it gets into the public sphere? And so, again, bullying falls under that intimidator energy, that aggressive energy, as well as, let me see here. I'll just have to go through. This is like a whole class into itself. But again, the point is, which one are you? Are you a bully? Are you encroaching on other people's space? Do you hear them when they ask you to stop? Do you feel it's your right to go beyond their boundaries and demand of them what you want to know? Do you like when that's done to you? Are you doing on to others? Like, these are the very simple things that's going to begin to fix our community when we do unto others as we would have them do unto us. And so because we've grown up in a space where this maladaptive behavior has been normalized, Papa, welcome to the conversation. Or Popa, sorry, welcome to the conversation. We have to realize that this behavior has been normalized. That doesn't mean it's right. It just means it's familiar. And so we have to begin to, or it behooves us, for us to begin to examine these familiar spaces and the way in which we communicate, because we have become accustomed to the pain. We say sharp cutting things to one another and maybe we laugh it off, or we think it's normal, or whatever the case may be. But reality is we keep injuring the soul every time we interface with one another in a way that robs us of our humanity. So with that said, I know I'm up a little bit late, but I'm not going to OD. I'm going to get ready to go to sleep now. I thank everybody for tuning in. My name is Amuna Yisrael. Again, if you want a little laugh, check out the little comedy. I was cracking up. I don't know about y'all, but I like to laugh because laughter is healing for the soul. And so even in some of these things that we struggle with, there's something to be learned when we see ourselves in the way we speak in drama or comedy or storyline or whatever the case may be. Any questions or comments, feel free to ask at this time. If not, the book is available on Amazon. I'll be doing more of these sessions, busting the book open and just showing people some very simple ways that we can begin to improve our lives. So with that said, thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody have a blessed night. 1.